The last few episodes of Chainsaw Man have been absolute nonstop hype, so it obviously feels a little bit disappointing when we get, yes, training montage. Characters are defeated, everything's being shifted around, and yes, everybody needs to get stronger because they just obviously got the floor mop with them, but still, it's okay. And why is that? Because Kendra Suda. Everything is forgiven for Andrew because Kendra Suda is Kishibe, and his voice makes me melt. He is literally my only man crush. I can listen to ASMR Kendra Suda all day. But no, my jokes aside, there was quite some stuff in here that really was interesting. Yes, I loved getting this whole Denji and Power doofiness. Their combination with nobody else really with them to guide them is just, it's stupid. It's absolute stupidity. But again, a lot around Aki, his regrets, and additionally a little bit into Denji and his realization that he's sort of lost a little bit of himself. But yes, opening up this episode, we have Denji and Power, and they are overlooking Aki. Well, actually, they're just there in order to eat his apples. And yes, Aki is kind of lost because he does ask them, who do we lose? Pretty much everybody except for Kobane and the glasses guy. And yeah, the glasses guy ditched. So obviously that's an indication to him that, yes, Himeno's gone. And yeah, you can say Arai as well if he even cares about Arai. But obviously the big thing here is Himeno. He's lost his partner. And as Denji and Power end up leaving because they have to go see Makima, Denji comes back to get his manga and he overhears that Aki is sobbing. And this is where we get into that little conversation about Denji realizing that he's kind of lost something about himself. He doesn't understand, like, why am I not upset? Yeah, technically, he spent time with Himeno. Aki's upset. Why am I not upset? Yeah, I was upset when Pochi died. Pochita obviously affected him. But he hasn't really been upset since then. Would I be upset if Aki died? Hell no. Would I be upset if Power died? Yeah, no, not gonna happen. What if Makima died? Yeah, I'd be a little bummed for a little while, but as long as he has food and a place to stay, that's all he seems to care about. And then he realizes, well, maybe besides just losing the organ of the heart, maybe I've lost my humanity's heart, like the emotions that come with the heart. Now, granted, yes, you can argue that that's just kind of a symbolism of the heart itself is your emotions, but still, he's thinking at this point that he's lost it. And yeah, that kind of gets into a little bit of play when we run into Kishibe, where he starts to wonder about that kind of stuff. We're starting to get a sense here that Denji, while he is still dumb, he's very simple-minded, he is starting to think about, well, am I still human? It is starting to bring up the question mark of, is Denji still human? How much of his humanity does he even have? Yes, you get into question marks with a lot of cases, like with him and Aki when they took out that fiend. What does he care about? Well, whatever side wants to be my friend. I don't got no friends, so whatever side. He doesn't care about things that normal humans do. He doesn't fall within the constructs of society itself because he's been dejected from it for so long. So it'll be interesting if that's something that actually becomes a core feature of Denji in realization at some point how much of him is human, how much of him is devil, and what does he really care about? Like what Kishibe says eventually, who do you want to fight for more, devils or humans? Well, whatever side feeds me. All he cares, whatever side takes care of me. He doesn't care, which is kind of interesting that Kishibe believes that's a perfect score because that's almost him implying that if you train him up and the devils offer him something better, he's going to turn on you. How is that a perfect score? I think it was probably more playing on the idea that he just wants somebody crazy because that's what he kind of talked about with Himeno. When he spoke to Himeno about who could actually take down the gun devil, it has to be somebody crazy. Somebody that would be able to fight against the devil would have to be crazy. And that obviously is an indication that he's crazy. And obviously, Kishibe doesn't want to train somebody unless they're worth it. So if Denji said, no, I want to save mankind, I don't want my mom to die or something like that, he's going to go, you're weak. And I don't want to bother training you because the devil's going to use that. But yes, we get a cut to them going to Kishibe. Makima takes them out there, says he's going to train you. And he's like, immediately, I have 3 questions. Are you sad your partners are dead? They're like, no. Power's like, something like, oh, I just thought to myself, they're dead. Do you want revenge? Denji's like, not really. That stuff's depressing. Power's like, yeah, I second that. And then he asks which side he won, like I mentioned earlier, which, yes, is pretty much Denji going, whatever side takes care of me. And Power's like, whatever side's winning. Which, again, I think that's that symbolism of craziness. Well, I think all 3 of them are symbolism of craziness. Do you not care about your friends? Do you want revenge? No, all these normal things that bind down humans and essentially fuels the devils to fight the humans, they don't have. And that's exactly what Kishibe wanted to hear. So yes, he's gonna train him, sends Makima off, immediately kills the 2 of them. or pretty much kills them, and then feeds them blood in order to restore them. And then we get a little bit sense that from his perspective, he's always loved toys. I had to stop myself here. How many people out there that are fans of Mushoku Tensei, which right now it's super deep in my head because I just did a Mushoku Monday that was covering Zenoba. Kishibe reminds me of Zenoba. He literally reminds me of Zenoba. So I'm wondering if maybe they got a little bit of inspiration. They both are like super strong. They both have a few screws loose. And yes, both of them love toys since they were little. And they've always wanted a toy that they can't break. That perfect toy. So yes, absolute Zenoba vibes here. And then add the fact that he is Kendra Suda. I'm all for this dude. I'm all for this dude, even though he's just kind of weird. But yeah, he says that basically because they can't die. Well, he basically says that power is nearly immortal. And obviously Denji is immortal. All he has to do is feed them blood. They're the perfect toys for him. He's going to break them over and over again until they become seriously strong. Which, yes, turns to them dying like 20 times. I like when he finally leaves for the day. Denji's just speaking gibberish because his mind hasn't been healed. His brain is damaged and it hasn't healed back. So Power starts beating him in the face. Heal. And yes, it turns into this stupid conversation between the two of them that they don't like this. Denji doesn't like it because life isn't fun right now. And if he's going to have to deal with this, it's no longer going to be fun. He doesn't want this anymore. And yes, Power just hates it. She's just suffering. She doesn't like this. So they're trying to come up with a plan. She's like, I got it. We're going to use our brains. He's always drunk, so we're going to use our brains. And again, this stupid chemistry between the two of them where he's like, yeah, I've always wanted to fight like that smart character in a manga. And she's like, yeah, we're going to do this. I'm like, you guys are so stupid. Which, yes, their whole plan is to ambush him when he comes to the apartment because they didn't show up. And they fail miserably. But we did get a Power in glasses, which is great. Seeing Power in glasses was super good. But again, she uses too much of her blood and passes out. And Denji just fails miserably at ambushing him. Now, the other side of this episode is obviously Aki. And I like this because when you have these two people that were from the headquarters or whatever, they come in there and they're supposed to be training the division. And they basically state to him, you've lost Kon. She ain't going to work for you no more. You put something in her mouth that she did not like. you got in a little bit over your head. And so she's not going to listen to you anymore. And additionally, how many times can you even use that sword? Which we've already implied in this episode. He's got 2 years left. He ain't got much time. We don't know exactly how much time it takes from him every time he uses it, but it sort of implies he ain't got much time left. Which, yes, normally in most shows, I'd probably say, well, let's wait until we figure out some way to get around this whole curse. No, this show's already shown that it's more than willing to have Aki die eventually, which I like. I like when there's these repercussions to using things and it actually works out. Himeno using the ghost, she's gone. And yes, Aki, I believe, based on that, is going to be eventually gone. Unless this whole devil he makes a contract with the end, or if he makes a contract at the end, will fix that. But no, they stress upon him, do you want to continue? You've lost everything. You don't have anything. You're going to have to sacrifice something really big to keep going. You're not going to be able to use that sword much anymore. You're going to have to make a new contract. Are you willing to make those sacrifices? And he right here going, my partner's dead and the killer's still loose. My family's dead. The killer's still loose. How could I stop? Which, yes, pushes him to have to go with them to this place where they keep all these devils locked up that they've captured and to make a contract there. I was curious if they're going to walk by the cell that has Kon in it. Of course, it doesn't specify that Kon is locked up somewhere, but that's kind of what is implied here. That any devil they're making contracts gets locked up in there. Technically, if Aki had to have it explained to him that they have devils locked up in there, then that implies that the cursed devil that he has a contract with isn't there. And yes, he made the contract with Kon, and he's never been there. So maybe there's some devils that get locked up in there, some don't. But as they're going down there, they do mention the fact that this lady came by and visited Aki. And this was actually the sister of Himeno. And she brings letters that she believes Aki should see. And in these letters, she's obviously asking about her family, saying, don't worry about sending me food. I have plenty of money. How's dad doing? Is he taking his meds? And then eventually the conversation in the letters shift towards Aki, mentioning that she got him to pierce his ear. He was super mad. And that, oh yes, by the way, I really want to quit and go into the private sector. How do I get Aki to follow me? And this is where we get this really terrible thing here, because he's now realizing the thing that she was implying to him before, she was asking him before, and he kept brushing it off. But it implies the idea that, yes, Aki, because you didn't accept her offer, she's now dead. You could have took her up on it. She wanted so badly for you to take her up on that offer. Let's go private. But he wouldn't do it. And now she's dead because of it. And I think it didn't really imply what his emotions were. That's the big struggle that we have. I mean, yes, he was broken up that Himeno was dead, but you didn't really get a true sense of what he was thinking the moment that he was reading those letters. What I mean by that is he mad at himself? Is he self-loathing now? Is he broken to the point now where I'm just going to essentially, is he going to be a reckless person rushing out there to get revenge? Is he no longer going to have a care for his own safety? Is he going to basically put people at risk because he no longer cares? Is he at the point now where nothing really matters anymore besides maybe getting revenge? Thus meaning whatever he's going to sacrifice to this future devil, he don't care. But yeah, he enters in the cell that has the future devil in it, and they mention that 2 other agents have a pact with her, a contract with it. One had to sacrifice half their lifespan. Some of the things that people sacrifice is crazy. And the other one had to get rid of both their eyes, their sense of taste, and sense of smell. So they're like, hopefully this dude likes you, that way he's not going to ask too much and you can get a bargain. Obviously, they ain't going to make a contract for him. The future devil's not going to make a contract for him by taking half his lifespan because there ain't much left. Of course, it might not know that. So that might be a good thing. But I don't know. I don't know how much of a sense they have that. If bargaining with somebody for a contract, they can go, okay, well, I want to take half your lifespan, and they're able to see it and thus know the value of it. Or is it always just simply, I'm going to assume that you're probably going to live for a while, so I'll take half your lifespan. Anyway, solid episode, despite it not being like super massive hype like the last 2 episodes. I don't expect every single episode to be that massive hype. Again, we have to have our training montages, and at least it's Kendra Suda, Zenoba style. So I like it. Didn't see Kobane, and they didn't imply that she quit, even though she said she was going to. So maybe Makima is avoiding her so that she can't quit. She allowed Madoka to confront her, so she lost 1 agent, so she's not gonna let Kobane figure out where she's at. Again, fun scenes with Power and Denji. They're just absolute idiots, and I love it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, you did, make sure to hit that like button down below, comment, let me know what you thought of this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. Greatly appreciate everybody that does, and y'all take care.